What's up, everybody? It's Kobi from Amor IT Solutions. Today, in this video, we wanted to just talk about a wireless network install that we did the other day. We had a customer that contacted us, stated that she had a wireless router in her house that was not emitting a strong enough signal throughout the entire house, and she needed some help. We actually talked to her on the phone and ended up setting up an appointment to go out to her house to look at basically the equipment that she had and the setup and what she possibly may need to help her out. When we arrived at her residence, we were greeted at the door, went inside. We were shown the house, which is a very beautiful house here in northern Michigan. Basically, it's a house that has been added onto over time, and the main part of the house is where the Charter Spectrum internet was coming in, and that's where the wireless network was set up. And the expansion on the house actually was divided by a sliding glass door, and whenever they would close that sliding glass door, they would lose wireless connectivity in that part of the house. So basically, after we did our survey, sat down with a customer and told her what we recommended, which was the router that she had was pretty outdated. We basically said that she should get a new router and a switch, a power over Ethernet switch, and then two wireless access points, one on each side of the house, that would help her get full coverage. Just to back up a little bit, when talking to the customer, she did say that she had several grandkids that throughout the year would come and visit. Oftentimes they would come and were not happy with the wireless connectivity. It was slow or intermittent, or they just couldn't get onto the wireless, especially if they were on the expansion part of the house. So that was one of the big reasons why they wanted to have this upgrade. When I actually went and did the testing, what we do is we go in and we actually do some speed tests. We find out what's the maximum upload and download speed from their internet provider, which again was Charter Spectrum, and we run a test to see how fast they're getting currently and what is the maximum download and upload that they're supposed to be getting from the provider. We were told that they were supposed to be getting about, they thought 65 megabytes download and about 10 megabytes upload. And when we tested it, that's about what they were getting. I do know from experience in this area that with Charter Spectrum, most of the time for residential, the minimum speed that you're going to get or that you can get is 100 meg download, and I believe it's 10 meg upload. So I was a little bit surprised that they were only getting 65 by 10, but I also told them that it might possibly be that they had a very old modem from Charter, and also it could be the wireless router that they're using. So anyways, what we ended up doing is we ordered the equipment, set up a date for the following week to come back and install everything. Once we got all of the equipment in, we contacted the customer, let them know that all the equipment was there and that we would see them on the date that was scheduled, which was the following week. We end up showing up at the customer's residence and got started. We'll go ahead and show you some of the pictures kind of before and after. So this is a picture here where we already obviously started working on their network. This is actually their entertainment center. This is where their TV, you can see it kind of at the bottom. The TV was at inside this entertainment center. The silver box that you see on the left-hand side is a Charter Spectrum cable box. And then just to the right of that is their Cisco, it's a black box. There's a Cisco cable modem from Charter. To the very right, you'll see a white box, and that is an Apple Airport router that they were using for their entire house, and that's the one that we had to swap out. Obviously, you can see that the wires, a little bit messy. A lot of it is just because we had to pull the wires out and arrange some stuff and basically take a just a quick look at what they had before we could figure out where we were going to put everything. Here's a crawl space that we had to go in because when we looked outside, we had to figure out where Charter came in with the internet line, and they basically went around the outside of the house from one end of the house to the other end of the house and up through the crawl space. So what we had to do was get our ladder, go up in the crawl space, and see if we could find where that cable resided at. And we were going to run an Ethernet cable that would power the access point in the adjacent part of the house. Up in the crawl space here, you can see some pink insulation and then blown insulation that you see in a lot of crawl spaces, attics, and housings. Basically just blankets the floor here. But you can see the black cable is that coax cable from Charter that they brought in. Here's some more insulation. And a lot of this was sitting down flush, and we had to move it around to try and find out where the cables were at. After we figured out where the cable was coming in at through the crawl space, and we were able to attach a network cable to that and pulled it through the crawl space, and then we had to come down into the cabinet where they actually had their entertainment center, and this is where we were going to put the router and switch. As you can see from the top here, the crawl space is up above, obviously, and we had to drill a hole down through the entertainment center, and that's that gray cable that you can see on the right hand side. We just drilled holes all the way through to the bottom to where we were going to put the network equipment. Another close-up look of the hole, one of the first hole that we drilled through from the attic. This picture here is a hole from the ceiling that is just on the right side of the entertainment center. This is where we're going to place the first wireless access point. So this would be in the main part of the house, not the expansion. Basically, we drilled a hole again from the attic, and the cable that you see down there is a network cable that we're going to attach later on to the access point. Here's just another view, a little wider angle, side of the entertainment or network closet, and the cable coming down for the access point. Here's another front view of the entertainment center, still rearranging some stuff. You can see the two gray Ethernet cables that we were running for the wireless access point and the cloud key that's part of the network equipment. Again, when we arrived there, we noticed that they had an old Cisco modem. This modem was really old. We ended up having the customer call Charter, which they ended up showing up, and I asked them if they would replace this modem. They gladly went ahead, had one in his van, came in and actually swapped it out for a newer one. So we were appreciative of that. We figured that was going to help with their overall internet speed as well. Here's kind of a look of, this is really what it looked like before we started working on it, but this is kind of a little bit of an after picture too. You can see that newer modem in the bottom left hand corner there. This is the equipment that we put in. We've got a wireless router on the top, which is a white box with the LED on the top. Unify router, and then below it is a Unify 8-port switch. 4 ports are PoE, power over Ethernet. To the left of that, we've got a Cloud Key Gen 2 from Unify. And this basically is where, we had it all configured at this point, and we plugged in all the cables, and then we started testing just to make sure that everything was working the way it should. The labels that you see on each one of the units. It's just something that we do to make sure that we know which IP address goes with what appliance. It just makes it easier for us to, when we have to go in and do configurations, or if we get called back to the residence, to be able to spot which device is at what IP address. So here's the access point from the ceiling next to that entertainment center. You can see obviously where we finished up the network cable. We're able to take the access point and then fasten it to the ceiling there, and this gave them the coverage on the main part of their house. Here's another wider angle view. Again, on the right hand side of the entertainment center, on the ceiling there is that first access point. Another wider view. Here you can see the front of the entertainment center. You can see that access point again that we installed. Here's where we had to drill through for the second access point. This is actually on the expansion part of the house, on the other side of the sliding glass door, where again they couldn't get wireless signal originally. So we ran the cable from the outside and poked a hole from the outside of the residence inside and ran the Ethernet cable so that we could install the secondary access point. Again, just another picture of the network equipment that we put in the entertainment center. And here is the kind of finished product of that second access point in the expansion part of the house. Same style access point that we put in the main part of the house. As you can see, that we also have that labeled with an IP address. Here's a close-up look of that access point. And then afterwards, when we were done, basically we wanted to run some speed tests. And here you can see that we were at this speed test, we were getting 114 megabits download and 11.9 roughly megabits upload. So quite a bit significant increase from, like I said, the 65 megabytes download to approximately 10 megabytes upload. And we contribute this to, again, replacing that old wireless modem and putting in a better router and, better access points. This speed here was actually done, I believe, with a LAN connection. So we had the laptop plugged directly into the switch, and this is the speed that we were getting. We also did a speed test, wireless test, throughout the entire house, and this pretty much was the speed throughout the entire house. We never saw anything under 110 megabits download and nothing under about 9 megabits upload throughout the entire house walking around with our laptop. And we also tested it with an iPhone. Basically, that's the synopsis of kind of what we did the other day. And we do get a lot of people that contact us that have internet issues or speeds like this, and a lot of it is based on, where they're putting their wireless equipment, the quality of the equipment, how old is it, is there firmware upgrades that have been keeping them up to date, or are they way behind on updates? Sometimes we see some routers and access points that are actually a year, 2 years behind on updates, which there's a lot of fixes that come out throughout that time. So that can improve the quality of your network by having that up to date. And it's basically having a professional come in and doing what we call site survey to try and figure out where the issues are with the network, as far as if it's a wireless connectivity issue, looking at where the equipment is and what we can do to try and remedy the issue. This was a really good example of basically going in, doing the survey, seeing that the router just wasn't strong enough to be able to emit that wireless signal to the adjacent part of the house or the expansion part of the house where they had that sliding glass door. They also did tell us that with that sliding glass door, it's quite a bit colder, especially in the wintertime on that side. and they would have to leave that sliding glass door open in order to keep internet connectivity on that side of the house. So obviously that was a huge problem, and we're glad that we were able to go in there and get that remedied, and now they're not going to have any issues. Their grandkids are supposed to show up here in the next couple of weeks. We did tell the customer that we were going to give them a call in a couple of weeks from now just to see how the wireless was going, and we hope that their grandkids and whatnot that go in the house or that are going to be there next week are going to be happy with the wireless, and the other family members won't have to listen to them complain about the wireless signal not being that strong. Anyways, I hope you like the content. And if you have any questions, again, you can reach out to us at the website, amoritsolutions.com, or give us a call. Our phone number is on the website, or hit us up on social media. Thanks. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when we have new content. Also, if you'd like to know more about us, we have several social media pages: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you would like to hire us for any network consulting or IT needs, please head over to amoritSolutions.com, fill out our contact form, and let us know what we can do to help you out. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for all your support, and we hope to see you in the next video.